A new zombie movie. You know I'm excited. Shall we begin?
I'm impressed by the way that you dress. Did you know you're coming with me? I said, yeah. You think you know my problems? This ain't the time or the place, and I'm gone.
So for those of you just joining us, same rules as always. I will just give a brief review of the movie and then you can leave, or if you want to stay, I will then be giving away major spoilers and my honest opinion about the movie. This will become clear because I will have a sip from my spoiler club, sippage of spoilage as I like to call it. So once I start having a sip, you can close the video, no spoilers, or stay and find out what I really think. That was close, it was a tease. The Girl with All the Gifts, starring Gemma Arterton, Glenn Close, Paddy Constantine, and Constantine, Paddy, a guy from Dead Man's Shoes, and new girl, Senya Nanua. The Girl with All the Gifts is a film based on the book of the same name, which was also based on a shorter story from the same writer. In the dystopian future, zombies have attacked and killed us all, those pesky buggers, but this time they're not exactly zombies. It's a fungus that has infected us all and turned us into crazed maniacs who just want to go out and kill each other and spread this fungus. They're also not called zombies, actually they're called hungries. And there's a military outpost in the middle of nowhere which has a scientist working with children to try to develop a cure to stop the spread of the fungus zombie outbreak. And of course all hell breaks loose, some hungries break in, and the small team have to escape and go on a zombie adventure. So you have your doctor, Glenn Close, Gemma Arterton as the school teacher, Paddy Constantine as the military hard tough guy I don't like kid, and newcomer Senya Nanua as Melanie, the girl with all the gifts. That's the title. And if you're thinking, that sounds awfully familiar, then you're right. It's the exact same plot of The Last of Us, that really popular PlayStation game that came out a year before this book. I'm not saying anything, we all know there's always people who come up with the same ideas. It's happened to myself. You come up with a great idea for something and then someone else in the world does it. There's billions of us in the planet, so it's bound to happen. Regardless, the similarities are huge. It's a basic zombie outbreak movie. They have to get somewhere with zombies chasing them. Should you go see the movie? It's up to you. If you really like zombies like I do, then it's worth checking out just to see this new format, the thing about the fungus instead of traditional zombies, to see Glenn Close in a zombie movie. It's a British thing, so you might think, is it similar to 28 Days Later? Does it have that vibe? Personally, you don't have to see this movie. It's not that good a movie. It doesn't bring anything new. I think a lot of people were hoping it would, especially with the British vibe. Last couple of huge popular zombie movies have been British, like Shaun of the Dead, 28 Days Later. I can see why people would really think this would be the new one, but it's really cliched. There's so much wrong with it. However, if you really like zombies or you just fancy something different, please go see it. The performances are great. The girl, Senya, who plays Melanie, the new girl, she is actually really good in the film. Doesn't annoy you as much as most child actors annoy me. Obviously Glenn Close, Paddy Constantine give solid performances. Gemma Arterton, she's pretty. Basic zombie movie in the style of 28 Days Later-ish with The Last of Us. So if you like The Last of Us and you can't wait for the sequel or the movie adaptation, then this might be a good filler, I don't know. But for now, spoiler sippage. One more. Oh my god, this movie was so bad. If you haven't left, that's your own fault. I did warn you. I gave you fair warning. Fair warning. Oh, I drank so much spoiler tea. The movie is so non-original. It's frustrating because if you, as I said, the plot, sorry. The fungus has got me. I'm gonna turn into hungry. This movie and the plot is so not original. It's so basic and formulaic and the same thing over and over again. It is so frustrating, especially because they heralded it as a new formula, a new format, something else to think about. Where it's a fungal disease and not a zombie apocalypse. It isn't that new. I mean, 28 Days Later is 14 years old, and this movie is a shadow of that. Obviously, 28 Days Later, it was rage. In this movie, it was a fungus infection, a fungal fungus. Ugh, it's not athlete's foot. Zombies are not hobbling around with horrible fungus infections. They could be. I wouldn't know. I wasn't paying attention. The new things aren't that new because the fungi and the heroine, the small girl who may be a cure if you're allowed to experiment on her, that is the exact game of The Last of Us. And as I said, it did come out a year before the story did. And maybe he picked up the console, maybe the writer didn't, but it's so close, it's infuriating. If you never played The Last of Us, you should, or you could watch PewDiePie or another YouTuber play the game. The story is really good, it's outstanding. So if you compare that to this, where it's the same thing but executed in an hour and a half, I understand that games have hours more gameplay to establish storyline and themes and what have you. But this movie just didn't execute anything well. Let's just break it down, shall we? I'm just going to ramble. Or first, let's do the actors. Glenn Close, she was fine. Paddy Constantine, Paddy was fine. Gemma Arterton was okay. I mean, she's the same in every movie. No offense, I'm not the hugest fan of her. She hasn't exactly done a Oscar-winning performance or anything challenging, I don't think. No offense. Another little gripe, and it's really small, is that they cast Fiseo Akinade as Kieran, this strong military guy. However, in Britain especially, he's famous for this television show called Cucumber about gay people in Manchester, where he's an extremely camp character, and he played it so well that ever since then I always see him as that character, which I know is unfair and that I shouldn't, but there is a scene in this movie where he's out for a supply run. He finds a shop, he goes in, and then he finds porn, and he's looking at all the girly mags, and I'm just there thinking, you could have been gay in this, it wouldn't matter. I mean, I don't know if the actor is gay, but it didn't seem right, especially because I know how gay he could be. Oh, this sounds so wrong. The classic movie Hollywooding of zombie movies where people make dumb mistakes all the time always happens. They found this military portable lab near the end, and they're all hiding in it. And then Kieran has to go out and get some food, so he goes. And then literally 30 seconds later, Melanie, the zombie, who has been eating people, whenever she gets hungry, she just rips off her mask and runs and eats people. As soon as Kieran leaves on his own, she's like, I'm hungry, you have to let me go eat. And they do, they just let her go after Kieran. I mean, she's in a crazed state then. She could eat Kieran, she could eat anyone, but they don't give a shit. They just go, yeah, just go. Whatever. They all work for the military. I would have thought they'd say, maybe just get Kieran back while this rabid zombie eats. That wasn't the smartest move. So the main crux of the story is that you have your humans and you have your zombies, but then there's these hybrids. The hybrids were basically pregnant humans who got infected, so then the babies just turned into hybrids and are now, they can, a bit like Blade, they're both worlds. They're pretty much humans, but they need to eat every couple of hours or they'll go crazy. Melanie is this hybrid, and the military catch a bunch of the hybrids and they strap them to chairs. They try to educate them, and over time I think they're real kids. However, they're not the only kids in the world. There are tons of hybrids. It pretty much turns into Mad Max. Do you remember, is it Mad Max Thunderdome, where he finds all those kids like worshipping the airplane? It's like that. There's like a whole village of these kid hybrids. They all have their own little language, they all have this thing, but they're basically hybrid zombie kids. Yeah, that was really depressing as well. Only because, as I said, the marketing, the advertising is, this is a new scary horror thriller. It's so clever and it's zombies. Tribal children which aren't scary. They try to make them scary and set traps and stuff. They just weren't scary. They have this standoff, and I swear it's not just me hating child actors, but they had like a tribe of children, like 20 children, surrounding the guys. And Melanie, who's never seen the world, instinctively knows what to do to save them, and she challenges the alpha, one kid with a club, and has this little fight, wins quite viciously, but it's like, it's kids, isn't it? But she's given instructions. Like, she's like, stay behind me, doctor. They're mine. You can't touch them. They're mine. I know what to do. Act like you're scared. I'll teach you. Like, you know, she has it all in her head. It makes no sense. Well, whatever. I didn't think it did. It seemed a bit silly. But that's what really frustrating is, I said I don't want to compare it to The Last of Us, but in The Last of Us you had the regular zombies with fungal zombies, and then they got more and more. I mean, I know it's a game, but they got more and more dangerous. Some of them exploded and whatever. But in this, it was zombie humans, zombies, oh my god, they could kill you, hungries. Then it was just some kids I don't care about. Hungries, oh my god. Then it was some kids that you could have just shot. If any of them had a gun, this wouldn't be a story. I also hate this whenever movies try to force themes upon you and hammer them in because they're trying to be smart or clever. And this one happens literally within the first couple of minutes. The Greek myth of Pandora and opening her box. I cannot say that without it sounding dirty. I apologise. No, I'm not. The legend of Pandora's box, how it relates to Melanie in this story. And obviously the themes are similar and it's trying to be all clever. However, they hammer it in so much, it's painful. And it's as soon as Melanie's like, I want to hear a story, they talk about Pandora's box, and it's just so obvious she's Pandora in this version. It's just fucking infuriating. And that's another thing that annoyed me is Gemma Arterton's the teacher in this. And she's supposed to teach these kids who, by the way, aren't human. They're supposed to be lower than us in status. They're treated such by all the guards. No one likes them. But she's teaching them like simple basic math and stuff. But then every time one of the students like, can you tell a story? She's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, what do you want to hear? Fuck protocols. Fuck the stuff I meant to tell you. Let's just tell you some Greek myth. They had this stupid thing where everyone had to write a story. Melanie's the spunky girl, so she raises her hand. She's like, I'll read my story out. And it makes Gemma Arterton cry because it's so beautifully sad. And oh my god, that's so cheesy. But then she touches her head and Paddy Considine comes in and is like, don't touch them, they're animals. Proves his point, which is in the trailer, like wipes his spit on them, blows it in front of a kid's face, and the kid goes nuts. If you think how strict they are in this military zombie apocalypse, I know it's hungry, but I'm going to say zombie. And then she just keeps ignoring protocols all the fucking time just because she likes this one kid. It's really stupid, but whatever, you need some conflict, don't you? Also about the Hungries, I mean, yeah, sure, they're just rip-offs from, unconfirmed rip-offs from The Last of Us, but they've just got some fungus. They're okay, they don't really do anything. Although there's scenes where they're surrounded by the Hungries and then one of them will make a noise and you're like, oh my god, this is it, they're all going to just run, they're all going to attack them, oh my god. And then one may attack them, but it's the furthest one away. Like they're stood next to a Hungry here, but it's his friend who's at the other side of the road, and this one just doesn't want to wake up. This is me. If this were Hungry, this would be me. Oh fuck it, no. No, I'm totally asleep. I wouldn't want to wake up for anyone either. It's possibly because we saw World War Z. Now you expected all these huge zombie attacks. Well, the first big action sequence, which takes like 25 minutes in, it was kind of boring. Just seeing these paint by number blood splatter. They had CGI blood splatter, which I hate, but if it's done well, I don't mind. But it was done so badly and cheaply. It was like Adobe After Effects done by someone who's never done Adobe before. But the action kind of only happens once. The rest of it is 28 days later-ish, where they just kind of move place to place and don't really encounter anyone. and just talk, and it's not interesting. They had some scenes which I suppose I assume were supposed to be quite creepy, but I'm not lying, everyone in the screen was laughing. Do you remember, like, if you watch World War Z, the zombies had this weird... It was quite creepy. When you watch this one, it was just a woman who had just been bitten, she turned, and I'm not saying she's a bad actress, it was just the way it came across. It was just so bad and cheesy, and they have this weird voice. It's not like the zombies we're used to, I assume, so it was just like a bird. She was just like trying to be creepy. That was built up like, oh, Melanie's trapped in a room. Hello, sorry, there's a bit of fluff. You gone? Okay. So there was this whole, Melanie's trapped in a room with a hungry, and she was creeping around. She couldn't smell her for some reason because she's a hybrid. There were so many opportunities. I was like, this is going to be a classic jump scare. She'll look away, she'll be right there, whatever. She'll escape by the skin of her teeth. Nope, she got out quiet. She just got away, left her. She kind of did that weird bird noise, like, and just walked away. Didn't even come back for a jump, like, just left it. There's also a bit with a baby, like a mom and her baby, hungry zombie, and she's just walking along with a pram, and it's quite a funny scene, and like it is quite creepy, but that's never explained ever again. The music, the sound, the score, I'm not sure if I liked it or hated it. It was really weird. I'm gonna assume it was a violin, but it might have been some kind of cymbal, but this creepy sound just kept going off all the time, and traditionally you'd think that would be leading to a jump scare, like when violins get really high and then boom. But no, it was just this weird tone, and it was, I don't know if it suited the movie, because the movie, like I keep saying, is so cliched and such a standard zombie movie that this weird sound, which they could have used in an alien movie or something more thrillery or something like that, would have worked better. But I always just like, it just kept coming out, and especially because I was sat by one of the speakers in the cinema, but whenever I heard it I was just like, oh. Like I was really getting ready for something and nothing happened, or oh, this could be creepy, but no, it was just something that you've seen a million times before. It was nothing a lot of the time. It was a 15 in England, so I don't know if it's going to get an R rating in America. I doubt it. It might be PG-13, because there wasn't any gore, there wasn't any gross scary thing. It just wasn't that scary. It was a 15, so that kind of held it back a lot, because like I said, 28 days later, a much superior film is an 18 for a reason. It scares the shit out of you. They also had this new thing which was quite cool, because of the fungus, where when you get a big crowd of zombies, I don't know how big, but it wasn't really specified, but when you get the hungries, when they get so close together, the body dies and the brain becomes like a pod, and like vines shoot out, and it forms some weird brain tree and the brains become seed pods that will release spores. It provided some good imagery, but again, I haven't read the book, it might be explained better in the book, but in this it was super rushed, and it was funny. Like, they just found this magical vine full of brains and dead bodies. Glenn Close, she's like, oh, when you get too many of these together, they all turn into this giant vine. That must be it. Okay, cool. I'll give you that, because you're a scientist. Giving you that one. And then she automatically knows just by looking at this weird plant that looks like nothing on Earth. Well, that's a lie. It looks like vines with brains hanging off them. And then she's holding one. Oh my god, don't you know? This is going to release spores into the air. Like, she knows automatically what it is and how it is. And as I said, she's a scientist, so she could hypothesize, but it just seemed... And she had it, and she was like, oh, this could kill us all. And then instead of being scientific, like, oh, I best take this to the lab and experiment, she's smacking it on the ground and like trying it, and she's like, it won't break, it's unbreakable. And all I could think was, If that broke, you'd kill everyone. And that would be a much funnier movie. Melanie, like, the actress who played was really good, but the character is really friendly and happy, and really polite, which is fine, but I was festering as I do. But she's really upbeat considering she's in a horrible situation. No one's nice to her apart from the teacher. Everyone hates her and points guns at her. She's strapped to a chair. She's physically and emotionally abused. She could get dissected at any moment in time. All her friends are dying or are evil. She's basically treated horribly, but she's the most happy person. She's the happiest person ever to be tortured. She's just like, hello, got Mr. I can't remember his name. Hello, Mr. Smith. Hello, General Smythe. How are you? Would you like to read me a story? And I don't know. Also, she has photos in her room. She smuggles photos and she keeps looking at them, and one's a cat. I was like, where did you get the fucking photos? They are strapped to chairs every day apart from there. Maybe she got it in class, I don't know, but they're really strict, but then some things aren't. I don't know, I'm overthinking it again, but it's just little things like that just nag. The major thing that pissed me off about the movie was the ending was so atrociously played out and just bad in general. As I said, I haven't read the book, but having a brief look into it for this review, I found out that the ending in the book makes a lot more sense. So more spoilers. In the ending of this film, Melanie has a chat with Glenn Close, is going to give herself up to be sacrificed. And then in the last minute, all of a sudden gets inspired and figures out, you know what, fuck it. Why do humans deserve to live when me and my kind, the new zombies, Hungries, should be the new people? And then she goes out and she lights that big tree made of brains that releases millions of spores into the air, killing millions of more humans and all the survivors and turn them all into zombies. It doesn't make sense, and it's such, I don't know, I'm so pissed off about it. For one thing, Melanie, it was the most stupid fucking thing to do. She keeps trying to side with the humans for the whole of this movie, and then in the last 2 seconds she just decides to kill everybody by and I mean, she's so innocent in the whole movie, you can kind of get it, but it still didn't ring that great. As I said, the stupid decisions, everyone has been hiding in this bunker, this portable lab. And then in the last 10 seconds where she's like releasing all these spores, Paddy Constantine comes out and he's just like, oh no, I'm infected now. I guess I'll just die. And then he tries to have a last minute emotional story about how his wife died, I think when she was 7 months pregnant or something like that. Or his kid died, I don't know. But it was just silly. It was like a tapped on. And I know he tries to bond with her and he tries to get better and better, but it just didn't sit. And Melanie's like, oh, sorry. I just thought it was a good idea. A proper kid mistake, which does kind of ring true, but it's just, it makes no sense. However, in the book, it does make more sense because spoilers about the book as well, book spoilers. So Glenn Close has actually experimented on other Hungries and the serum's never going to work and she can't cure it, and that they're the next stage of evolution and there's nothing that can be done, well, by Glenn Close. So then Melanie goes, fuck you, and then lights the fire and kills everyone. That makes way more sense. Yeah, story-wise, and makes more sense in the book. However, in the movie they've cut that out and it just seems like a stupid idea that Melanie did with some stupid logic. It didn't make sense. Melanie, now she's killed everybody, she just wants to go back to school with Gemma Arterton, and she finds all the kids from the military base. She's found all them, but now she's now she's the alpha of this little tribe of kids who've just killed all her friends. She's got them as well to go into the school. So you've got these kids who are all in like Orange is the New Black kind of outfits, just sit there with these wild kids trying to learn, and Gemma Arterton's just script is she's trying to take it seriously. She's like, now class, please be patient with the new kids and let's just catch them up to speed, shall we? Let's learn some more Greek plays. And these kids are just going wild. It's like bringing Mowgli to class, but not in a fun, cute way. It was just the weird, and that's how it ended. Gemma Arterton stuck in a lab teaching feral kids Greek myths for Melanie's amusement. Melanie's just a bitch. She kills everyone, and now she's gonna trap this poor woman in a box and make her teach these feral kids. You might have seen my tweet. The girl with all the gifts, more accurate, a girl coming into your house at Christmas, stealing all of your gifts and taking a dump under your tree. That's how I surmised the movie, because her gift is killing everybody and starting a new age of hybrids as the new rulers of the earth. But it was shit. I think it was just with the title and all the ideas, it could have been quite an interesting movie and quite well executed, but it wasn't. There's loads of other things I could talk about, like Melanie attacked a cat and a dog and ate them, but there's nothing that interesting. People died. As I said, it's a lot of cliches you've seen before in other zombie movies. There's nothing new, especially if you play The Last of Us. Overall, the book sounds better. The movie had loads of chances and opportunities to be better, but it failed. Go see 28 Days Later. Just remember, this is it. If it's on, you know what? If it's on late night and there's nothing on, give free to watch it. Feel free. If you're having a zombie marathon and you have to do it, or you're playing The Last of Us and then you want to watch the movie adaptation, which doesn't exist, then yeah, go watch this. But I don't think I'll watch it again. There's no need. There wasn't a need the first time, except for the trailer did look quite cool. So thanks for watching. Please let me know what you thought, if you actually did like the movie, if you thought that she delivered more gifts than Santa, or did you agree with me that she didn't have any gifts? If anything, she owed me gifts. Leave a comment below. So once again, I'm MikesRambles, aka Fester. Please like, subscribe, share, do whatever, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.
And I'm gone.